Okay. Good evening. It's July 28th, and it's 6 o'clock, and the Coney County Board of Zoning Appeals will now come to order. The first item on the agenda is the appointment of a board secretary. Do we have a motion to appoint Ed Helbig as our new secretary?
So move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Do we have any discussion? No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. Next item is approval of the minutes of May 29th, 2025. Do we have a motion to approve?
So move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, do we have any discussion or any changes or,
I'm gonna abstain because I wasn't here.
I'm sorry?
I'm gonna abstain because I wasn't here.
I wasn't either.
Okay, we have two abstentions. Ed. Okay, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Approves. Now, next we'll have a brief statement about the rules and procedures for this evening's hearings. The applicant will provide a presentation regarding the needs for the variance for 5 minutes, with the board having the ability to grant more time if needed. The board will ask questions after each presenter. The staff will address any additional issues. Citizen comments will be allowed for a period of 3 minutes each, with the board's request that the speakers not repeat what others are saying, but rather concur or state other facts not previously presented. There will be an applicant rebuttal period if necessary. The board will ask any further questions before deliberations. Once the board begins its deliberations, there will be no further input from the floor, and the board will begin its voting on 4 individual questions. And a negative vote on any one of the 4 questions will require a denial of the variance or the special exception. Okay? And Ed, one thing before I move on to the first hearing. Are there any, did anybody sign up to speak?
Yes, I believe so,
Oh,
and
okay.
Ms. Dunaway is bringing you those sheets, right?
Thank you. Are these?
One for each.
Okay, the first item for this evening's meeting is variance application VA 25000007. Arthur Covert is requesting a 4-foot reduction to the side setback to install an elevated walkway. It's located at TMS 334-02-01-060 with an address of 164 Northport Bass Drive, Fairplay, South Carolina, 29643. Would Mr. Covert please come forward? And would you please state your name for the record?
Arthur G. Covert.
Proceed.
My variance is for an elevated walkway on the side of the house. This is so I can access the house on the one side, and the neighbors have sent a letter stating that they have no problem with the elevated walkway. The elevated walkway on the side of the house will be 7 foot tall, so you can walk under it. I also just received the engineering stamp drawing of that walkway if anybody needs to see it. Any questions?
Have any questions from the board?
The walkway's going down the side of the house to access the house more toward the front, toward the lakeside.
Okay, then if you have nothing further, would you please take your seat and then we'll proceed? Ed, do you have any comments from the staff?
You have a couple of the renderings here, and the letter that was spoken of is attached, or
Okay.
it's on the screens currently.
Okay, any other comments or anything? If not,
Yes, sir.
we have nobody who signed up for it. Is there anybody who would like to speak with regard to the variance? If not, then we will start with our questions? If we have no further questions, proceed. The first question is, there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? Being no discussion, all in favor? Aye. Okay. Second item, these conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? There being no discussion, then all in favor? Aye. Okay. Third item, because of these conditions, the application of this chapter to the particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? Being no discussion, all in favor? The authorization of a variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent uses or to the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
Second.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor? Unanimous. Okay. Based on the evidence presented to the board, do I hear a motion that the proposed variance be approved?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor? Motion carries. It's unanimous. You have your variance.
Thanks.
The next item is variance application VA 25000008. Laura Sutton is requesting maximum front setback variance of 20 feet for a residence. The TMS number is 162-05-01-038 with an address of 305 Shareview Drive, West Union, South Carolina, 29696. Would the applicant please come forward? And would you please state your name for the record?
Hello, I'm Michael Sutton. I'm Laura's wife, Laura's husband. Lady and gentlemen, we appreciate the opportunity to speak to you about the variance that we're requesting. We've flown cross-country to address you as we understood that our appearance was mandatory this evening. The variance that we are requesting is necessary for us to build a home on the lot. There is a road that intrudes onto the lot that, given the setback from the water and the setbacks from the road as presently imposed, will not allow a footprint for a house that is of the size required by the homeowners association in the community. So for that reason, are there extraordinary and exceptional circumstances pertaining to this particular piece of property that mandate this variance? The answer is yes, because of that road that invades the property. Are these conditions that do not apply to other properties in the vicinity? Again, the answer is yes, because this is a property that has the unique characteristic of having the road that intrudes into the lot. Because of the condition and use of the property, will it prohibit or unreasonably restrict the use in the neighborhood? The answer is no. We will be building a house that is commensurate with homes in the neighborhood. And will the variance have substantial detriment to the adjacent properties? Again, the answer is no. The Peninsula Point Homeowners Association has already addressed this issue. They have allowed a 15-foot setback so that we have a 10-foot from the road for the footprint of the house. When we originally filed the application, we did ask for a 20-foot setback. We've gone back to our architect. We think we can get the house on the footprint of the lot with the 15-foot variance for the 10-foot setbacks from the road. And that's what we're asking, consistent with what the Homeowners Association has already approved.
And do we have any questions from the board?
I have one. Why is the road jutting into your lot?
That's a good question.
Is it a county road or a private road?
We've been told both, but we do have a letter that the seller of the lot from whom we purchased the lot told us that it was a private road and that it was not under the jurisdiction of Oconee County. Since we've closed escrow, we've been told that we need this variance, and the homeowners association at one point tried to sell us the road. Which even further confounded the issues. So I can't tell you. When we bought the lot, we were told that this was a parking pad for our lot. And then now we understand that the developer should have put a cul-de-sac at the area, but instead put a off-the-road wise into two different lots, ours being one of them.
So the road ends where your lot is?
That's correct.
Okay. I don't see why they don't close it or anything. They don't.
But with some effective surveying and architectural design, we're confident that we can work around it if this variance is granted.
Anybody else have any questions? If not, please take your seat then.
Thank you.
Ed, do you have any input?
Only that, well, a couple of things. But pertaining to this, we did receive one email that was requested to be read. And it says, "To whom it concerns, my husband and I are owners of Lot 100 across from Lot 98 in Lake Kiwi. I understand a public meeting or public hearing will be taking place on July 28th concerning the variance request for a maximum front setback variance of 20 feet from the owners of Lot 98. Unfortunately, we will not be able to attend the hearing in person due to business and travel conflicts. For the record, we are against and object to any proposals to change the current road structure on Shareview for the following reasons." It states property owners should be aware of the covenants and restrictions before closings. Exceptions to the rules should not be provided when everyone else has abided and will abide by the covenant. If all property owners have abided by the covenant and restrictions, it seems unfair or selfish to come in wanting to make changes that would impact the neighbors already residing there. This variance request impacts to the property owners in a tight section, a shared road by neighbors in that vicinity. Owners already residing on Shareview would not be subjected to changes by future neighbors who decide they want to make changes based on their desires. They should have known what they agreed to before closing. Finally, this variance would impose on and compromise access and safety since Shareview's layout is already tight with a very narrow road. We are in favor of leaving the road as it is without any variance and property owners. But this is not a request to change the road.
No. No, so the letter really doesn't apply to the variance as it's written.
Understand, but
Okay.
still have the
No.
responsibility to
Okay.
present it.
Very good, thank you. Any other comments?
It appears that in lieu of a cul-de-sac, the idea was to put a hammer T ending at the end of the road as a turnaround for larger vehicles certainly. And that's all I can add to that.
We do have three people that have signed up to speak with regard to this. The first person is Joey. I'm not sure, I'm having a hard time.
So lemons, looks like a lemon.
Huh?
Lemons?
Oh, Lemons, okay. Please state your name for the
Yes, my name's
record.
Joey Lemons. I am the treasurer for the HOA, and we also have our secretary here in the HOA.
Okay.
So we've looked at this property, different ways of how to correct this problem. To be honest with you, the developer did make a lot that's almost impossible to build on. And we looked at options of a cul-de-sac, we looked at options of a Y, and one of the neighbors didn't want it right up against their property line. So basically, we went back and said, okay, let's just keep the roads where it is. And the reason we didn't, we even offered to try to sell it to them. But then the question came in, how's the trailer gonna turn around? You know, we gotta have this little thing so people can back into it and turn around. So the next thing we looked at was, okay, let's see if we can give them a variance. Instead of a 25-foot setback from the right-of-way, let's see if we can give them a lesser setback, and we said 10 feet. Now, what we approved at our HOA meeting was a 10-foot from the road, but, could you put that map back up? I was gonna point something back out to you. So if you look at the road basically comes to right here, almost where the right-of-way starts. So when we say 10 feet, we're essentially saying the same thing when we say 10 feet from the road right-of-way. So this is showing 25 feet. We're essentially trying to give them 15 feet back. And they've got this lot right here that really, you can't build anything on it. So these guys right here basically listened to their realtor. Their realtor probably did tell them it was a buildable lot. They've paid big money for this lot. And now, without this variance, they've got a piece of land that they can't do anything with. So we as a, you know, we feel for these people, and we're trying to, as Southerners and hospitality, we're trying to help these guys build on their lot. And so we don't feel like by giving this 10-foot, giving this 15-foot variance right here hurts anybody else around here. And it allows them to be able to build this house on it. They can put their septic tank lines up this way, and it just makes a lot usable. And right now, you know, they've basically been sold a lot that, and I truly think that they probably were told the county doesn't have anything to do with it, the POA does, or HOA does. It is a private road, it's not owned by the county, but the county does have to give the variance, or has to give the final approval of the variance. And we as the HOA would hope that y'all would grant this variance for them.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Charles Crawford is,
Yes, I only put my name on there if you had questions, so I don't have any comments to make. Joey made all the comments for us.
okay, very good, thank you. Michael and Laura Sutton.
That's us.
Yeah, and you know, you put your name, okay. Very good. I think that, yes, with it.
How are you, sir? I'm Chad Bloodworth. I am lot 99 next to this.
Yeah.
And right now, as it sits, I'm good with the way that it is. Initially, there was trying to move the road, which I was completely against. It's not it's not the
Please
the
come
best
up,
case
please
scenario.
come up to the podium and speak if you would.
It's not the best case scenario.
Yeah.
But yes, they were sold a bill of goods that was a lie by a realtor that owned the lot before them. That everything was good and they could move the road as they needed to. That was their parking pad. And I raised objections to it because I didn't want it along my property line, along the fence line. So as it sits now, I'm fine with. It will make it a little tighter, but, you know, just like Joey said, I'm willing to work with them and try to make this as good as we can make it with, you know, what we've been given.
Appreciate your comment, thank you.
Yeah,
Will you restate your
Is
name?
there anybody else that,
Will you restate your
to
name?
you or
Just over.
Chad Bloodworth.
Okay, you're good.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
anybody else that didn't sign up that would like to say something? If not, any comments from, or concerns or questions from the board? No, it looks like it's, you know, pretty tight fit, no matter how you skin it, so I think, okay then, with that, we've taken care of the public comments. Get on with the, okay. let's get on with our questions. There are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? No discussions, all in favor? These conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, do we have any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor? Because of these conditions, the application of this chapter to the particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor? The authorization of a variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent uses or to the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor? Unanimous, okay. Based on the evidence presented to the board, do I hear a motion that the proposed variance be approved?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor? You have your variance.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the next item is variance application VA 25-000009. MCM Investments LLC is requesting front setback variance of 7 feet for a residence. TMS number is 268-00-06-066 with an address of 314 Forest Creek Drive, Seneca, South Carolina, 29678. Would the applicant please come forward? And would you please state your name for the record?
David Smith.
Oh, I'm sorry?
David Smith.
Would you care to make your presentation?
Okay. Mr. Chairman, board members, I'm David Smith. I've been building for now to 60 years, and we're seeking a 7-foot variance on the setback on this home. It was a rough lot, and we got the carport into the house, or the parking into the house right, but we missed on the other end because the street came back on us. And we're asking you to allow this because we've done 6 houses in this neighborhood. We've increased the value of all the property. We've cleaned up the vacant lots that were trash piles and got them ready to build on. And we've done nothing to hurt the value in this neighborhood. This is an old neighborhood, been around since the 60s. But most of the houses are in very good shape, very good shape. We have 1 or 2, as you would have in any neighborhood. It doesn't quite make it, but all we're asking is a variance so we can sell our house, and we're not in any way trying to hurt the neighborhood or change the neighborhood. We just want to do what we do, and we've made a mistake here, so that's what we come to.
Yeah,
you have a
I'm just
question?
confused on a couple of things. You said you're trying to sell the home, is that,
Yes.
and what does that have to do with the variance request?
We discovered in the process of closing the house at the survey that we were in a little violation of the rules there.
So the problem exists and you're coming and asking us to approve it and after the fact.
Yes, yes. We didn't know we had a problem until the buyer's survey.
Anybody have any?
No, sir.
Anybody have any? Ed, would you please take your seat then? Thank you.
Sir, I have nothing to add at this time.
Looks straightforward. Let's see here, okay. And you had signed up on the sheet, so you've already spoken, so we can do that, okay? Then there's no further discussion or questions, okay?
Gentleman back there's got his hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sir. Would you please come forward and
All right, so I live in the neighborhood. My name's Matthew Crooks. I live at the bottom of Forest Creek. And basically, a lot of the neighbors have come to me and they've stated that the only problem that they have with this, like, they're fine with the house being there. It's just they don't want cars being parked on the road. It's like maybe there needs to be an extension to the concrete driveway, maybe going back behind the house or something. But the goal is to keep the cars off the road so that it's safe for kids in the neighborhood. Because a lot of families walk the neighborhood with their kids. And we want to make sure that the kids are safe and that everybody's doing their job because it's right there in a curve. And we want to get that, as safe as possible. Curve at the top of a hill. So maybe, I agree with what they're saying. The setback is fine with me, but is it safe? Now, I think that's what we need to consider.
Well, the thing has existed for some period of time. Has there been a problem? I say this apparently has existed for a number of years now.
This house has not existed for that many years. This house was recently built. The lot's been there, but the house is not. The house has been built within the last year or so. So the problem's not with the house, it's just it's so close to the road that, if they have a family and that family has people over, it's gonna be a nuisance to the neighborhood. But, that's up for y'all to decide. I just wanna bring it to your attention.
Okay, very good. Thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
Any thoughts or comments from the board?
I got a question for Mr. Smith. You're talking about putting a carport in, correct?
No,
So what are we giving variance for?
the other end of the house,
The house itself?
yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm Mitchell Graham. I stay right across the road. This neighbor here, I have seen him, but I have never met him because I'm recently moved in the neighborhood myself. The house, as far as I'm concerned, no problem. It is close to the highway, but it's no problem. But as he was saying, the driveway is for 2 cars. If the man buys the house, got 3 or 4 cars, he's got a problem. Because this comes up around a curve on a hill. If you got a car coming from both directions on a hill, and then you got a car coming on a part there, we got a wreck. That's my only concern. No parking on the road.
Thank you for your comment.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Smith? Yes, please.
Yes, I was in the neighborhood this morning, and Mr. Mitchell's complaining about what might happen at my house. He had 2 cars and a camper that were partially parked on the street right away. So I don't know where his complaint comes from. The 2 cars is in my driveway and the camper is on my driveway.
No, we're not going to get into a discussion arguments between people, really.
Okay.
You've made your you've made your statement. Okay, the board have any thoughts that have come up?
Well, I guess one thought I have is that the concerns the neighbors have about safety,
Yeah.
to me, doesn't have anything to do with the variance request. It seems like the variance request stands alone, independent of the safety
Yeah.
concerns that they would have.
I agree.
Agreed.
Can somebody point to me where the variance is gonna be, since it's not on the driveway end?
If you've got, it's on your screen. It's essentially.
The house is encroaching on the
Front setback.
front setback. The whole house, I think, is in the setback.
So where the house was supposed to be 25 feet off the road, it shows that it's,
It would actually.
11 feet.
It
Yeah.
would actually be closer than 11 feet
It's
because
actually
that's
close.
not the closest point to the property.
Where the
line.
porch is, it would be much closer.
if the porch is flat though, it would not be considered, but Elise is right, there are parts that are closer than the 11 feet that are measured there. But it's the 11 feet as shown, plus the areas that are closer that are within the 25-foot setback.
Okay. Then if there's no, is that, you satisfied? Satisfied with, okay. Then let's move forward then on, I think, it's pretty obvious, I mean, the problem's there. And the only way you're gonna rectify it is either with a variance or to move the house, and I don't think it's practical to move the house, so. Okay, let's start with the first one. There are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion further? There being no discussion, all in favor? Anybody opposed? No. Unanimous, okay. These conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor? Because of these conditions, the application of this chapter to the particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, do we have any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor? The authorization of a variance will not be a substantial detriment to adjacent uses or to the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, do we have any discussion? No discussion on this item? All in favor? Motion carries. Based on the evidence presented to the board, do I hear a motion that the proposed variance be approved?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor? You have your variance. As a side note to the people that are concerned about the parking, you might ask the county if they would put no parking signs in on your street or something like that, and that might alleviate your problem.
Appreciate it.
Okay, the next item, variance application number VA 25000010. Cindy Barloga is requesting front setback variance of 20 feet for a detached garage. The TMS number is 10400-02-037 with an address of 405 Paradise Cove Drive, Mountain Rest, South Carolina, 29664. The applicant, please come forward. Would you please state your name for the record?
Yes, sir. My name is Cindy Barloga. My husband, Stephen Payne. We own the property at I own the property at 405 Paradise Cove Lane. We want to put in a private detached garage so that we can get cars and trucks off the road, off of Crystal Lake Road. I do have to plead some ignorance is not an excuse, but I wasn't aware of the setback. We looked at my husband's home next to this property, which is also set back about the same distance. and we were looking at how do we connect the garage and driveway to our driveway of the main house. So in terms of, we were working around the well and those pipes, and also the drainage coming off of Paradise Cove Lane, which impacts the bottom part of this lot, where I cannot put the house further back. I'm very nervous. It's the first time I've spoken in front of zoning, and
Take your time.
I
We understand.
apologize for being very nervous. My husband, Stephen Payne, I'm gonna let him speak.
So, the variance after, careful measurements is actually only about 6 feet from the front. On the front
On Paradise Cove?
side, so you can see where it has the 40 across the structure. At that edge of that wall, it's only 6 feet from the 50 feet. So it's 44 feet from the center line.
Okay, so the correction is then, you're not asking for a variance of 20 feet, you're asking for a variance of 6 feet?
That is correct.
Okay.
Okay. And so then on the side, which is not really mentioned there, but we were told, and this is after the fact with the inspector, because it's a corner lot, that the side variance adds another 25 feet to the 25 feet.
So we got 25 feet from Paradise Cove, 25 feet supposedly from Crystal Lake Road, which then.
And it actually
no.
changes it to 50 feet.
Gotcha.
50 feet on the little side lane, which, that, it seems crazy. The lot's only 147 feet wide.
I'm not sure. I understand what you're saying on that one.
Well, and it's not mentioned in our request, or,
We're in this variance.
but, that's what we were told, was that because of that it was a corner lot, it would not only be 25 feet from the center on the little lane, but it would literally be plus another 25 setback. And, so at that point, we're 32 feet on the side variance.
So you think you have a problem on both the street and both streets?
Well, according to the codes, yes. And unfortunately, again, we've had to plead ignorance. We didn't even realize there were county setbacks that had anything to do with our development. I've been there for 30 years. I own the lot to the north of this lot. And and Cindy owns the other one as well, so we own 3 lots there.
I own the other side of Paradise
So
Cove.
we're just building in the middle of it, and we thought we were covered, but we had no idea that there was county variances on that.
Okay, I see what you're talking about. There's a Paradise Cove Drive that extends into your property.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And we own that as well.
What is the purpose in that?
There's 2 other lots at the end. This is a lakefront property. And,
So that extends all the way through your property?
That is correct, sir.
To get, okay.
Yeah.
The Phillips have property on the left, and Sarah and John have undeveloped property on the right.
But,
But neither the Phillips or our neighbor on the other side of the other Paradise Cove lot have any complaints or concerns. We've talked with them about the impact, and they're
Excuse me. And do you have the GIS map to put up so people can see what's going on? That TMS?
So I'm trying to follow this
Yeah,
conversation.
it'll be
You're gonna be asking
clear,
for 2 feet
Bill.
instead of 6 feet?
no, on the side, if that 25-foot plus
Yeah.
is actually applicable,
You got the
Yeah.
GIS? I think it'll be obvious when you see the JS map. It's,
So just as he's pulling this up.
if you go to the TMS number in the property thing and then click on the map, it'll bring it up.
Yeah, no, yeah, we got it. So he's bringing it up for you. So the lines on here, they are approximate, they're not
Yeah,
exact.
I understand.
And for their property, the lines are off a little bit. So
That's
just when you
okay.
take a look at it, keep that in mind.
You know, I wanted just for the, to show what the problem is. See where the lines are, and see where Paradise Cove Drive is? It's right inside their boundaries. It's not on the edge of it, it's on the inside.
No, so
So-
it would be, so our lines on here, they're gonna be off a little bit. You're gonna go by, actually what the survey shows, cause that's going to be more exact than
Yeah.
on our GIS.
And
Okay,
survey has the line in the center of it.
I'm sorry?
The survey has the property line in the center of the lane. The center of the lane.
Oh, it has in the center of the lane?
Yes, I own to the middle of Paradise Cove, on both sides, the left side and the right side.
It's
Surely
actually
there's a
survey.
easement.
Okay, has it right? Where's Paradise? That's it right there. Anybody else want to see this? Sure, would you like this?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Is the garage construction already started, or is it already existing?
The concrete pad has been placed, I've put it's a metal garage, that'll be nice looking, it's not anything tacky at all, but the concrete pad has been laid.
Okay.
And we've done the drainage around it to help prevent erosion.
Anybody have any other questions? Would you please take your seat?
Yes, sir, thank you.
Ed,
Yes.
what is the situation here with that? Do they have to have a setback from that road as well? Or is that a private road?
No, there are required setbacks from both Paradise Cove
Yeah,
and Crystal Lake that are on each one of those sides is 25 feet.
yeah,
It is not, there's no adding those up to make a 50-foot
No,
setback
no.
anywhere. It's 25 off of.
it's 25 in and
Street,
then 25 from the
25
side.
in off of the other street as well.
And,
Those are the required setbacks.
so according to this, you're at 18 feet from the property line on the side where Paradise Cove Drive is.
That's correct.
And you're saying that the property line is in the center of the road?
Yeah.
And the road must be at least 20 feet wide?
Yeah,
Huh?
that would give us a request for a 7-foot variance on that side.
And 6 foot on the front?
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
the Paradise Cove, I don't believe is 20 feet wide. It is a county road, but I've never seen county maintaining it. Phillips and I maintain it.
So, what we just wanna make sure of is, on, Crystal Lake Road, there is 50-foot right-of-way.
yeah,
And that's essentially what the setback would be off of, whether they receive their reduction or not,
Yeah.
it's off of the right-of-way.
Right.
And on, Paradise Cove, it is, essentially from the edge of pavement, but I don't believe there's pavement there, it's just the edge of the
yeah,
road, the gravel in this case, is where the 25-foot setback would be off of that. So I would estimate that that's probably not a 20-foot width road, just serving those other two properties. It's probably closer to a driveway of 12 feet.
It's a single car, you have
no,
to.
it'd be 6 feet,
so-
so they would have, if that were the case, you'd take 6 feet off of the 18, and you'd get, and you'd come up with 12, you'd have 12 feet where you need 25, right?
That would be a.
So the 12 would be a 12 foot.
13-foot reduction in that setback and the 19-foot in the other setback.
So you'd have a 12 foot and a 6 foot would be the two variances? He said that, if I heard him correctly, that he only needed 6 feet on the front end, on the front road, right?
Crystal Lake side, yeah.
He changed it from 20 to 6 on that.
Okay.
Then there would be the variance would have to be modified to, and there's an 8 foot between the corner of the property and the property line, which is the center of the road. And if the road is, assuming it's the 12 feet, then they would be looking for a 12, basically a 13-foot variance there. To be 13 feet to, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Does that, understand? So what they've got with their, when you look at it on the front, and when you look at the front part of it, he's asking, he said that he doesn't need a 20, even though he originally they requested a 20-foot variance, they only need a 6-foot variance to be compliant on the roadway, on the main roadway that's there. And however, with that other roadway, that they showed on the GIS map, that being on the center line of the road being the property line, and assuming it's a 12-foot road because it's a dirt road, that they would be you'd have half of that would be 6 feet. So you take 6 feet off of the 18 feet that they're showing on the map as being the distance between the building and the property line. So that would reduce it back to 12 feet. And if you take the 12 feet from the 25, that's a 13-foot variance.
Mr. Agar, and let me apologize, first of all, that I have not gotten out there to measure the road right of way,
Yep.
or the width of Paradise Cove. But knowing, of course, that we do have the property line as a defined center line of that
Yep.
road, we can essentially, you can consider the 18-foot variance from the property line, knowing that the width of the road, that there will be, that they'll be closer than the 18 feet from the edge of the property. I guess what I'm saying is,
So you're saying give them the 18, if you're gonna give them a variance, give them the variance for the 18 feet.
18 feet
And
from
it'll
the
probably
property
be less
line.
than that.
18 feet from the property line. And we understand that the property line sits in the middle of the road, and the road has a width which we anticipate is probably 12 feet, but it could be 10, I don't wanna lock you in on a number that's not correct.
No.
And we know
Okay.
that the 18 feet is an accurate number.
Any?
So administratively, how do we handle this if we have to change?
Then when we go through this, we'll go through the questions and all, but then when we write up when we grant the variance, we'll if we're gonna grant a variance, we will specify in there that there's 6 feet on the, what road is that?
Crystal Lake.
Crystal Lake. And 18 feet on the,
Paradise Cove.
Paradise Cove. Cove Drive side, okay?
So what that says is we would essentially grant the variance before we change the variance.
No, what we would be doing is going through the questions and the 4 questions, and then when we get to the point where we would bring it up, if all 4 questions are approved in the affirmative, then what we would do is we would make the adjustment, and we'd say that granting a variance of 6 feet on Crystal Lake Road, on the Crystal Lake Road side, and another 18-foot variance on the Paradise Cove Drive side of the property. We would be granting basically two exceptions in this variance.
Yeah, just, it was a little confusing to me of the timing, because when we go through the 4 questions, we've essentially granted the variance by the end of those 4 questions.
Well, no, you're granting the variance when you go through that last portion where you actually specify that you're granting
I
the
apologize,
variance.
you're right,
Yeah.
That's correct.
Does that clarify
I
it
got
for
it
you?
now.
Okay, any other?
This
This
is
one.
probably irrelevant,
No.
but you've already poured a concrete pad 40 by 48?
Yes.
And building codes didn't come out when you dug the foot and inspect the foot and catch this?
We had a engineer that came out and verified the footings and the compaction. There was a private engineer, and he wrote
I think
a
your
letter.
point, you do have a building permit, right?
It's pending.
It's pending this zoning because of the setbacks.
Okay,
Okay,
all right. It's,
just tragic, that's
no,
all.
you
Thank
got,
you.
okay. Any other questions? No. Okay, shall we proceed? Okay, then let us move on. There's no comments from, there's nobody left to comment, I guess. Are you people, do you have any comments? Nobody signed up to comment, but give you an opportunity if, okay. All right, then, we'll move on with our,
Of the road, anyway, will it?
well, we'll move on. If there's no comments, we'll move on. There are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, do we have any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor? These conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, do we have any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor? Because of these conditions, the application of this chapter to the particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor? Let's see here. The authorization of a variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent uses or to the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Okay, do we have any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor? Okay, okay, now, based on the evidence presented to the board, do I hear a motion that the proposed variance be approved for a 6-foot setback on Crystal Lake Road and an 18-foot variance on Paradise Cove Drive?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? Is that clear enough? Okay, okay, no discussion, then, do we have a motion and a second? All in favor? You have your variance. Okay, we've got that. One thing before we adjourn, Ed, in the future, could you make information packets for each of the members in place for them to have at the meeting?
Yes, sir.
We would appreciate it. That's something we've been doing in the past, and it's my mistake for not having mentioned that to you. Okay, we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.